video. This one is going to again be ISO 8 themed. Figured I would show this on my main just because I'm a little bit more capable of doing that at this point. So it just based off off of my roster. So just kind of looking at a couple different ISO 8 mechanics. So I will kind of talk a little bit more about the Black Order and the symbiotic relationship between Corvus Glaive and Proxima. Um, we will get into that just a little bit. As well as what Fortifier looks like on a level 3 ISO 8 character, as well as, certainly one of the beefier tanks in the game. And then just also, I guess another thing I will show off, if anyone would like to see. I'm also just going to show off my symbiote team so far, and just they are all at ISO 8 level 3 currently as well, and just kind of show you how the mechanics on that team works and what that looks like. So I'm just going to go into Blitz. I think that's kind of probably the easiest way to show these things. So let's see. We'll go in. We will do the symbiotes first, and let's see. We'll do these guys. That should be a tougher fight. And so I mean, as I've said in the advanced ISO 8 kind of video, I'm certainly experimenting more on the 3-star level on some of my stronger teams. On my main account, Khaleesi, and on Dracarys, I'm starting to build up my top teams to ISO 8 level 3. As I mentioned on mini call, I am currently only taking them to 3-star for my top couple teams, but for everyone else, I'm only taking them to 1-star. So anyway, so let's kind of get into the fight. So just a quick little rundown, I guess. I have Symbiote Spider-Man as a raider. I have Scream as a raider. I have Carnage as the skirmisher. Venom is my striker, and I honestly don't think I've done anything with Vulture just because he is not a permanent member of this team. But basically, the concept behind this is Symbiote Spider-Man and Scream, with their AoE attacks, are going to be applying vulnerable to as many of the enemies as they can. Carnage is going to do it every turn, and then with all those vulnerables, Venom is going to get a double attack, and Venom's basic is really cool where it automatically always applies a bleed. So that's just kind of pretty cool. And so I'm doing this at 2 speed just so it's not so speedy. You can kind of see it a little bit better. I'm really enjoying this team so far, even without the full team with Anti-Venom. They are just still a real strong powerhouse. Um, the basic concept of this team is they just apply so many debuffs and bleeds that just the team slowly ticks down. And for me, it's a really fun team to play, kind of in the more old school World of Warcraft days. I enjoyed playing on a Warlock, and I mean, that was kind of the same mechanics as warlocks basically just did the dots, and anyway. But so Vulture died. That's fine. He does not have any healing components with this team. Unlike the symbiotes, the Scream still is a little on the squishier side, but that's just because she's lower. She still does a really good job. What I'm going to do here now with Venom is with his ultimate, he is going to attack Hulk and then spread those debuffs to anyone else it hits. And then also with the ISO 8 mechanic on, he is also going to get a bonus attack, which is pretty cool. So it's going to add just another bleed. And I mean, it's just really pretty wild to see, how this team works. And I'll be really curious to see how it works once Anti-Venom is actually here. But I mean, it's just very few teams I've run across that they're able to get defeated by. As you saw, even without a technical designated healer, they are back to basically full health. You'll notice poor Iron Man over here has 7 bleeds on him on top of all of these debuffs. Just to give you a rough idea of the amount of damage this team can possibly do, I'm going to hit him with Carnage Special, which, does 350 plus an additional 100% for every damaging effect. So, you're looking, he's got 7 bleeds. I mean, he's just got a ton, so this should probably hit for a heck of a lot. So let's just see that. And yeah, so 400k damage on that. I mean, I can't think of a single character in the game that could actually withstand a hit like that. So it's a really cool team. I like the aspect of a raider, especially as they start getting higher, because it does increase their crit chance. So you've got them critting more. They're getting speed up from Carnage once they get to 25% health, and it's such a crazy team. So that was them with their ISO 8 mechanic. A really fun team, definitely going to be part of the new meta. So, if you're looking for a fun team to build up that's also just like crazy powerful, the symbiotes are definitely a way to go. And now we're going to look at my Black Order team. They are also all 3 ISO 8 level. So I have Ebony Maw as a healer. I have Corvus Glaive as the striker, Cull Obsidian as my fortifier, and then I've got Thanos and Proxima as my raiders. So we're going to go in, let's just see. I'm trying to do one with kind of a nice beefy health pool. Let's do a modified defenders. And this team, so Fortifier, it's probably of the ISO 8 traits, it's probably my least favorite, just because it does take some investment in order for it to actually start being really effective. A lot of pretty much all the other ISO 8 traits are effective at the first tier, at tier 1. Fortifier, in my opinion, doesn't really become effective until you get to at least level 2, or level 3 rather. So Thanos is my raider. It's AoE based, and especially when he is empowered, he is going to hit a lot more people. Um, and every time he does crit, you've got the possibility of him, causing vulnerable. So we have Proxima going. So let's see. Trying to get these people to live a little bit. Um, But anyway, so Proxima, she is set up currently as a raider. So again, kind of the same thing. When she AOE's, she causes vulnerable. And you'll see Cull Obsidian should hopefully get a turn, and he will barrier himself again because he is at level 3, and just get a little bit more protection. With the Black Order team specifically, Cull Obsidian does get hit a lot. So, him having a barrier certainly helps. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to get the mechanic where essentially Corvus attacks, Proxima will assist. So I've been thinking about changing Proxima over potentially to a striker, just so or rather a skirmisher, just so she's causing more of those vulnerables. But I'm leaving her for a raider for the time being. So you noticed, Cull Obsidian did. He went his turn, so he does have a little bit more of a barrier. Kind of like I said, the barriers are not the most substantial. You'll notice even, Iron Fist's ultimate basically got rid of the barrier, but it does add a little bit of extra health, and it is substantial on some characters. Not a lot of them, but there are a few characters that it does work on. So this team, unfortunately, it didn't look like I got any crits on any of my raiders. So we're not really going to see any assists, but that's all right. So that's just pretty much this fight. With Ebony Maw, he does do barriers when certain types of characters die. So you'll notice all of a sudden Cull Obsidian has a actually full barrier. And that's just kind of the Black Order. That was kind of Fortifier level 3 in play. Wasn't too many assists, and that's just primarily because that team died so quickly. I'll see if I can get another team maybe that will live a little bit longer and, you know, can kind of show off a little bit better. Let's see what we got as far as our other options. Um, let's go for a challenge. Let's try the symbiotes and see how we do. I'm hoping to get to see a little bit more of the kind of assist relationship with Proxima and Corvus, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's just kind of where I am so far with ISO 8. As I've said in other videos, it's a really fun kind of mechanic that brings to the game. Um, this team right now, the Black Order, should still do really well against the symbiotes just because without the anti-venom to remove the debuffs, you're not really going to see this team isn't as survivable. So we should get an assist. Hopefully he'll live. Good. So that's why I mentioned you don't want necessarily Proxima as the striker. You should be doing it as Corvus, because if you notice, Corvus did assist Proxima with someone with vulnerable, but he didn't do a bonus attack, and it's because it's based off of the primary attacker. So if Corvus had done that main attack, he would have done the bonus ISO 8 attack. But when Proxima, since she's not the striker, so we'll do one. See if I can get someone to keep a vulnerable on, which, I mean, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But if I can get vulnerable on someone and have Corvus attack, and then Proxima attack, the assist mechanic should work. It's just I'm kind of getting a little bad luck with the crits, and or when they do have the vulnerable, they're not living long enough for me to show it off. Which again, I don't think this team is gonna live long enough to see. But again, so you know, symbiotes are a great team. You are noticing obviously my Black Order team did kind of walk all over them, and that is going to be basically because they don't have anti-venom to get rid of the debuffs, and the Black Order team is just, I mean, they are a powerhouse. Um, but yeah, so unfortunately, wasn't able to show the full mechanics of ISO 8 with Black Order, but you did get kind of a idea of how Fortifier works with Call Obsidian, how it really works with the symbiotes. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see any additional content, as always, feel free to reach out to me on Discord at Khaleesi, in-game, Minicall, or Jakaris. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button, and I look forward to future content in the future.